This time on the Gadget Show.
It's our credit-crunching bargain hunting special.
We're devoting the whole programme to showing you how to get your mitts on the best tech without breaking the bank.
Pollyanna turns wheeler-dealer with a little help from top bargain hunter Dom Littlewood.
You are a professional haggler.
I get my stunt crew together to take some budget bikes for a particularly punishing ride.
I become a chauffeur for the day, taking Jason Donovan for a ride to test free satnav apps.
I'm enjoying the ride. It's a very comfortable car.
And I give some budget celebrities a really hard time. All in the name of testing netbooks, you understand. Hello and welcome to the Gadget Show.
Now, I don't know about you lot, but I've spent a fortune this year on tech. There's been some amazing gadgets out this year. The iPad is a good example.
Yeah, there have been 3D TV sets.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, what about games? Halo Reach?
Absolutely. Loads of great tech, but as you know, it doesn't matter who you are, in any gadgeteer's fiscal year, there comes a time when you've got to pinch those pennies, all right, and just lock down the finances.
What, stop buying tech?
No. Go hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't eat.
Hey, that is what this show is all about. If you are feeling a bit skint, short of the old pennies, we're going to show you how to find the very best in bargain tech.
Yeah, now when it comes to looking for the best prices for your tech, obviously the place to go is online. Or so I thought. But there is one man who believes that you can get the best deals by pounding the pavement, visiting high street stores, getting your banter right and haggling. But who is this mysterious guru?
What are you talking about? I can't possibly pay that. Let's do a deal. Ooh, missus! Hey! Stop throwing those spears at me.
What was that? Michael Caine?
Sorry, no, it was an amalgamation of different famous faces. All right?
Let me save you there. It was actually meant to be Dom Littlewood.
That's the one.
Consumer champion extraordinaire and close personal friend of the Gadget Show.
You look more like Harry Hill.
What?
Dom and I were going head-to-head in a challenge to see who could buy tech for the lowest prices, and I was confident that buying online was the only way to go. This is going to be a walk in the park, without even going anywhere.
Sitting in front of a laptop, Otis, sounds a bit boring to me. I like to do it the old-fashioned way, with a good old spot of bartering. Hello, Polly.
But it was me who'd actually be in there going for the deal.
What are you like at haggling?
I'm awful. I can't do it. So, this was the cunning plan. I was transformed into an undercover shopper, wired up with a walkie-talkie earpiece and a microphone so that I could secretly communicate with Dom.
Look confident, Polly.
Thankfully, Dom was hiding in a nearby shop, so he could hear what was going on and tell me what to do.
Right, don't forget when you get in there, select the person who looks like they're going to be able to give you a discount. That's a good start.
Our first target was the 14.2 megapixel Sony NEX5 camera, which we recently tested in France. The shop price with the lens thrown in was £539. 50 quid had already been knocked off, but that wasn't going to stop us.
Get their first name, make sure you touch them, either a handshake or their shoulder or something like that, just to break down those barriers.
Hi, Shola.
Yes.
I'm looking for a camera.
This is good. Ask him if he's the manager.
Are you the manager here, then?
I am the manager.
Oh, bingo. This is brilliant, because now we're getting the person who can give the big discount.
Back on the internet, I was checking out price comparison websites. But don't just stick with one, otherwise you might be missing out on a whole chunk of other bargains. Interrogate loads of them at the same time. I'm doing 3. But would my price beat Polly's?
I want a good price. I've seen it on the internet for £450.
Okay.
Right, say to Shola, I'd like to give you the business. I'll buy it today if the price is right.
What would be the best price you could do?
Then stay silent.
The best price we can do on that is 5-3.
The price has got to be below the 500.
Shola, the price has got to be below 500.
I wouldn't be able to do that on this occasion.
After nearly 25 minutes of haggling, we'd reached stalemate. So I used another of Dom's tips. I walked away.
I had no idea how badly Polly was doing, but I'd searched through 3 of the biggest price comparison websites, Kelku, Price Runner, and the one that came up trumps, Google Shopping. I've managed to come up with a challenge-busting price of £488 all in.
We didn't know what price Otis had found, but I was back for one final haggle.
Welcome back.
What can you do?
Before I walked off, Shola said he wouldn't drop from £539. So had he changed his mind?
I made a couple of phone calls, found out to see exactly what we can do for you.
Look disappointed, whatever it
I'm
is.
going to make it £500.
Result! But hang on.
But what?
What would happen is you need some accessories to go with your hand.
Shola agreed to £500, but now he wanted to sell me some accessories. It was time to use Dom's haggling coin trick.
Get the coin out, what I told you earlier, I'd say I'll flip you for it.
If I flip this coin and it's heads, I walk away with a camera for £500.
Great.
If lands on tails, I walk away with a camera for £500 and what you just mentioned thrown in for free. Flip the coin.
Flip the coin.
Okay, you chose heads?
I chose heads and you chose tails.
Tails!
No.
Brilliant! So we'd won.
Shake his hand, shake his hand.
Thanks, my darling.
Come here. You are, I tell you what, you have done so well.
So we'd haggle the price down to £500, but the coin toss winner's free accessories were £58. Beat that, Otis.
Well, I had spent only £488 online, but with those free accessories, I suppose I was losing. How could that be right? Maybe I could make up the gap with our second gadget, a 46-inch Samsung 8000 series 3D TV.
£1,949.
Ouch.
That's actually quite high, isn't it?
It's quite high.
Now, this is a high ticket price, so hopefully we should be able to get a good discount on it.
If you give me a good price today, I will buy the TV.
Brilliant. Stay silent on that.
What can we do?
Okay,
That's excellent. That is excellent. Online, it's a lot cheaper, isn't it? We have done our homework, you see.
But the good news was the price was already coming down.
So you'll do it for 1900s and 1949?
Yes.
Be disappointed. Still 50 quid just for asking.
Back in cyberspace, I'd checked through discount vouchers and cashback websites, which can save you a packet, but not for this specific TV. However, I did come up with an amazing price of 1,500 quid. Now that is a good price.
But back at the shop, I had another secret weapon.
Show him the phone.
Okay.
We'd used a neat little app on my iPhone called Red Laser. It scans barcodes and gives best online prices. It revealed the telly was available for less than £1,500. Enough to send Andre away to get the store manager.
Charm him, use his name. Go on, do your best.
Hey, Robert.
1650 is the lowest price we can do on that. I'm not going to do any more on that.
So Otis won this part of the challenge, but we did get an impressive 300 quid off the price.
I will take the TV for 1650.
Polly, do you know what? I've never ever known anybody as good as you so quickly. You are a professional haggler.
Oh, that was
Really
a great thing.
interesting
It
stuff.
seemed to me as though you won one each.
Yeah.
Polly, you
Absolutely.
definitely won the one with the camera, getting those
Great
accessories.
deal, great deal.
That was a good deal. But your 3D HD TV was over £150 cheaper. So you win the challenge overall.
And believe it or not, I could have gone even better. It wasn't until afterwards that Dom told me that he even haggles online.
You're
He
kidding.
gets a price from the website, then picks up the telephone and then gives it a bit more banter. What a legend.
Brilliant. Well, it's proof that haggling actually works. And I must admit, Dom has some fantastic advice.
Yeah, and he's a big fan of the show, watches it every week. And he was at Gadget Show Live,
He was,
remember?
yes.
But more about that later on.
Welcome back. Now, I want to talk to you about free satnavs. Conventional, standalone satnavs aren't exactly cheap. Even a basic model will cost you around £100. But with GPS now coming as standard on many smartphones, it's not surprising that simple satnav apps, many of them costing absolutely nothing at all, have started to appear in the Android, Apple and Nokia app stores. But when put to the test, can these freebies possibly cut the mustard? Well, to find out, I donned my metaphorical chauffeur's hat and hit the road. Our location, central London, and 25,000 streets within a 6-mile radius. How would our free sat-nav apps cope navigating across this sprawling metropolis? With the help of my namesake, this Bentley, I'm going to be chauffeuring some rather special celebrities around central London. So, are these no-cost sat-navs for your mobile really up to it? My first appointment was in West London with Live from Studio 5 presenter Kate Walsh. And our first sat-nav app on trial Google Maps navigation for phones running the Android operating system. It's got the usual 3D and satellite views and a voice search feature.
So, Kate, where would you like to go today?
Today I need to go to Claridge's Hotel, please, John.
Excellent.
And I couldn't resist giving that voice search function a go straight away.
Navigate to Claridge's. Oh no, Larry Trees. Claridge's. Marriages. Oh no, did I mean the registry of births and deaths? Claridge's. Claridge's. Claridge's.
After wasting 5 minutes on the voice search, I gave up and typed in my destination. Then we were off. Google was optimistically saying 17 minutes to Claridge's, but my instructions weren't always clear.
Why isn't it telling me where I need to go?
Shall I tell you, or is that cheating?
That's cheating. I've got to go under this flyover, clearly here, and left. So that must be down there. Although it strangely didn't tell me. There is a little diagram at the top, though, which is good. Who are we going to see?
We are going to see Zac Efron. Do you know him? High School Musical?
High School Musical, of course.
Kate had just half an hour before her meeting with Zac, but Google Navigation had some good news.
6 minutes arrival time, does that sound realistic to you?
No, that sounds really optimistic.
And it seemed Google wasn't taking us the most direct way.
It's ignored the tunnel, so it's ignored an obvious shortcut.
I'm starting to get a little bit
Nervous.
worried now.
Are we getting late?
But before I knew it, we were arriving at Claridge's in the heart of Mayfair.
Ah, that's good.
And Kate was just in time for her interview.
Seems to have gone pretty well. There she is going in. Ooh.
So, Google Maps navigation redeemed itself after a few hitches. Next stop, Notting Hill, where I had to pick up a pop star, Aussie heartthrob Jason Donovan.
There we go. Oh,
We're in.
already in. Now, where are we going?
We are going to Paddington
Right.
in the search of my elusive artwork for my new album.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yes, travelling distances.
Cue number 2 of our free satnavs, Ovi Maps, which comes exclusively on Nokia. It's got all the usual terrain views that you'd expect, as well as real-time traffic updates. But it was quite fiddly to enter in our destination on the Nokia, which immediately put us behind schedule.
I'm enjoying the ride. It's a very comfortable car.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Sexy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very sexy.
Oh, is this the route you normally go to Paddington?
There's not too many other routes, and if it was going to take me another way, I'd be very suspicious.
It's saying 1 mile and just 3 minutes. Do you think that's a bit ambitious? 3 minutes?
3 minutes is ambitious, yeah.
Jason had a maximum of 10 minutes to get to Paddington. Luckily, the Nokia had its maps stored in the phone's memory, making it quick and efficient.
It doesn't seem to lag too much. It's got a very clear indication of the next junction.
Now we're on the last straight, and the Nokia was well within time.
Nice to see you.
Very good to meet you.
Yes.
It was a successful meeting.
Thank you very much. All the best.
And you.
My final stop was the Houses of Parliament, and it was time critical. Channel 5 News anchorman Matt Barbette had to get to the studio to present the evening bulletin. And our final free satnav app, Scobbler, on the iPhone. As well as the usual features, this app offers open source mapping, so users can edit its maps. But before we'd even set off, a bit of a problem.
Clear view of the sky. It's taken rather a long time to find that GPS.
Scobbler calculated the journey to the 5 News studios in Osterley was nearly 9 miles.
And it says we'll arrive in 12 minutes. Do you think that's likely?
No, no way.
The iPhone had a good clear screen, but it was taking us through some serious London traffic.
Driving around London to and from work, I know the routes, and this really wouldn't be one of them.
And the other problem? Scobbler fell silent. It barely wanted to speak to me.
So you actually need to be... There are occasional directions, are there? But slightly random ones.
Time was running out to get Matt to his bulletin, but at least Scobbler was feeling optimistic.
I mean, it says 5 minutes left, and I think we've got 5 minutes to go until you have to be there.
In this London traffic, 5 minutes is very, very wide of the mark.
He was right. 20 minutes later, and we were on our final approach.
It says so on the screen.
But where were the news studios?
That's my building straight ahead, but we're nearer the back door than the front door.
Matt was late. Scobbler's so-called 12-minute journey had taken us nearly an hour. So, on to G ratings, and it's just 2 Gs for the Scobbler and its poor accuracy. 3 Gs for Google Maps, nice features, though its voice search let it down. And the winner with 4 Gs is Nokia's Aussie Maps. Its speed and accuracy puts it streets ahead of the rest.
John!
I can't believe you left Matt Barbette outside the back of some building.
Well, it was actually rather a fraught journey, to be honest, and that's the problem with Scobbler, is it gives you these wildly optimistic journey times. You have to drive at about 90 miles an hour through the middle of London actually to achieve them.
Yeah, it did look like that. I wouldn't have been able to have tested the Nokia's Aussie Maps.
Why?
Because there's no way I would have been able to stay in the front of the car with Jason Donovan on the back seat. But it did look like it was the best application.
I think it's definitely the best app out of the lot. It includes speed camera information as well. And I think what's remarkable is that we're actually starting to think now of sat-nav turn-by-turn directions as something that comes free with our smartphone.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
That's an interesting point. It doesn't matter how good a gadget is, they all need one thing, and that's power.
But it is interesting that, actually, because gadgets do get a bad press when it comes to their power consumption. But what is the reality? How much energy do your favourite gadgets really consume? Enter Pollyanna Woodward and her portable energy monitor of justice.
Gadgets are part of our daily routine, but with costs of around 11 pence for every unit of electricity used, how much does your tech bump up the bill?
From the moment you wake up in the morning, your gadgets are eating energy.
And with the average UK electricity bill being £850 per year,
Just how much are our gadgets costing us?
I plan to work out the yearly running costs of our most common household gadgets using an energy monitor. I would then reveal the 5 highest users back in the studio. And first up, it was my toaster. A toaster is an intense consumer of electricity. On average, it's used 728 times a year, and that's a lot of toast. But will it burn a hole in your pocket? And from one powerful consumer of electricity to another.
I boil my kettle about 4 times a day.
That's about 1,569 cups of tea a year.
Anyone for a cuppa?
From kitchen tech to gadgets that keep you entertained for hours, and I mean hours. Just 2 hours a day playing games adds up to an astonishing 730 hours a year.
Oh, I just got a booster. Oh, but my back end's hanging off.
And it's not just tech that entertains you which costs you money. There are also gadgets we love to hate. We spend about 39 hours a year keeping our homes dirt-free. So which of our domestic gadgets is our home's hungry beast?
Come on, Polly, I can't stand the anticipation anymore. What is under these cloths?
So all in good time, Jace. Now I want you to guess what you think it will cost for these household gadgets to run for a year.
Vacuum cleaners.
Absolutely. Now I'm basing this on vacuuming for 45 minutes a week.
I reckon about £45 a year.
What?
£5.76.
Oh, yeah, that makes me want to do more vacuum cleaning.
OK, time for our next gadget, and Jason, yours is over there.
Ah, OK, games console. I'm very interested in this. How much per day do we play?
2 hours a day.
About £17.58.
What? £6.47. 2 hours a day.
That's
I know.
Fantastic value for money.
Yeah.
I was feeling guilty about all that planet warming I was doing. That's absolutely brilliant.
One for you, Suzi, now. We're over here.
So we've got some kettles.
Okay.
Oh, OK, well, I did the
Indeed.
top 5 kettles
You
not
do
so
like
long
the
ago.
Boil in the kettle 4 times a day.
£20 a year.
OK.
£15 a year.
£7.30. 4 times a day. This is now John's turn.
Laptops. Now, they can't consume much energy because they run on batteries and they've got much more efficient recently.
You're going to be using it for 5 hours a day.
I'd say a £5 a year.
Well, this is pretty all over the misery.
Wow!
Less than £8 a year. 5 hours a day.
More than a kettle.
Right, over to the very last gadget. Yay! It is, of course, TVs. Now, I want you guys to tell me how much you think it will cost me to watch my 42-inch plasma TV for 4 hours a day.
£32.73.
£27.66.
What is it?
Wow!
6.
It does show, however, that this is the highest power-guzzling gadget that we do have in the home, and it's nearly 10 times as much to run as our other gadgets.
How fascinating.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So bearing this figure in mind, how much do you think it will cost me to leave my TV on standby for the year?
Well, a few years ago, it would have been about just under 10%, wouldn't it? About £5?
OK.
18 pence.
Pence?
Wow! Pence.
That's astonishingly low.
I mean, that must mean that manufacturers really are starting to address this issue, whether it's because of the threat of legislation or just want to design better TVs. But I mean, that's starting to become something you don't have to worry about.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Now, time for a very special announcement. Gadget Show Live is coming back to the NEC in Birmingham for the 3rd year in 2011.
Yes, the UK's biggest consumer electronics event is bigger than ever and will be on from the 13th to the 17th of April next year. You'll be able to get hands-on with the latest gadgets from the world's biggest tech manufacturers. Expect more exhibitors than ever before. The return of the test track and future tech zones, both bigger and better than before. An incredible new 3D experience. And an entire hall dedicated just to gaming.
And there's more. The return of the Gadget Show Super Theatre. The chance to see us live strutting our stuff on the big stage and possibly even meet us in person.
That's 5 Tech Pack days, 5 massive halls and 5 enormously talented presenters. Go to 5.tv/Gadget Show for more info and details on how to purchase tickets. And don't hang about. Last year we sold out weeks before we'd even open the doors. So book early to be sure of getting into what has to be the event of the year.
Welcome back. Now, I've always believed that a well-made bike is a real work of art, an engineering gem. But right now, there seems to be a trend for buying budget bikes. So, could I be swayed? Could I be persuaded that cheap doesn't necessarily mean nasty? There was only one way to find out. To put them through hell. This is Millbrook, where manufacturers rigorously test motor vehicles. I was using it to push 6 of the cheapest mountain bikes we could find to the extreme. The idea is I'm going to put the 6 bikes through their paces. The only problem is, when I got here, I realised that more than half of them don't come pre-assembled. So my first challenge was to assemble them. I actually like it like that. Although daunting at first, it wasn't quite the nightmare I thought it would be. I'm actually quite impressed with how assembled these unassembled bikes are. All of our bikes came in at under £100, with the cheapest at just £69.99. Some even had full suspension. Just found a very worrying sticker, look. No stunting or jumping. I've got loads of stunting planned for today. Hey! Now complete, I was ready to start the riding. But first I had to get myself well protected, just in case one of these budget babies decided to give out on me mid-air. OK, wrist guards check, gloves check. Knee pads, elbow pads, spine protection, hat, cool ass shades. Let's get this party on. So to our first test, the bone-crunching cobbles of the Belgian Pavé. This was our test for suspension. Problem is, many of these cheaper models don't have any. The judder goes right up into my spine, a mile of this, and I think I could be shuddered to death. But even without suspension, there were some pleasant surprises. The gears on this thing are of a much higher quality than the other bikes. The crank is solid. When I change gear, it actually changes straight away. A couple of our budget mobiles offered full suspension and didn't do too badly. Definitely the quickest bike on this terrain. But for some... Definitely something up with the back wheel. The surface was just too much. Something's broken in the hub. The gear changer is... I think it's broken. Yep. It's cracked. So with the Octane Velocity and the Elswick Premier busted, just 4 made it through to the next round. And this was our braking test. This wet surface is normally used to test the latest and finest anti-lock brakes on cars. So how would the V-brakes on our budget bikes cope with this challenge? Let's get it on! Well, here goes nothing. That was quite good. Undramatic, admittedly, but actually quite effective. Some coped surprisingly well. Some didn't. Hey! But with no breakages, all survived to go through to the next stage. Woo! This was our final test, off-road. So would our budget offerings really deserve their status as mountain bikes? This would separate the men from the boys.
No suspension, no flexibility, rubbish tyres. Somebody help! Ah!
They weren't all bad news.
This is the bike out of all of them, I think, I'd definitely go for.
But the Maxima hype just couldn't hack it.
I thought it was difficult to stop. Look, my front brake's ruined, look at it. In fact, why am I even bothering to push it up the hill? Ah, oh, so much better.
Another one down. So, 3 bikes left standing for our final showdown. The only 2 of our budget bikes with full suspension got through. The 18-geared Challenge and the Trax, which comes ready assembled and offers 18 gears. But my favourite to make the last 3 was the Rock Rider. Even though it didn't have suspension, it has 21 Shimano gears and a whopping 5-year guarantee on the frame. Now, to really test my final 3 bikes, I recruited some expert help. From Mountain Biking UK magazine's testing team, the Wrecking Crew. Which one of these bikes would survive the final stage of the test? Now, in the next hour, we've got to try and put these bikes through so much grief. It's like 3 years worth of riding. Are you up to the task, boys?
Definitely.
Yeah? First, we took all 3 on some serious off-road riding. And I steamed ahead on my fave, the Rock Rider. But when it came to jumping, were the bikes up to the challenge? The Trax was hard to handle on the whoops. And we had a problem with its chain coming off.
Put it. Yes! We're in the road.
We rode and rode and rode, but the Rock Rider kept on rocking, handling every off-road challenge that we threw at it. Well, the sun's setting. We've spent all day testing these bikes, but there is one obvious winner, and I think we all agree, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
It's the Rock Rider. Awesome.
Oh, lucky test. Thank you for doing that. It's really interesting.
Awesomeness.
The question is, Jason, have you been converted? Do budget bikes compare to higher-end ones?
I've got to say that if you're really into mountain biking, okay, you need to spend more money on the bikes that we were looking at because the components and the level of design just aren't quite up to it. However,
these are all under 100 quid.
They are, and this Rock Rider especially represents fantastic value for money for light use and just the odd jaunt around the park. It's fantastic.
Right, from bikes to 3D. And if you want to know all about the latest in 3D tech, then head over to our website at 5.tv/Gadget Show to our special 3D pages. There you'll find 3D news, product reviews, and just about everything we've ever done on the Gadget Show about this much-hyped new technology, including my own 3D movie trailer and Jason's guide to whether or not you should buy a 3D TV. All that and more is live right now.
Welcome back. Now, this week's show is all about getting your money's worth when you're buying your tech, sniffing out the best gadget deals like some excitable little St. Bernard.
Now, one gadget that does really seem to represent value for money is the Netbook. And they pack a powerful punch these days, loads of features, and can be a really good budget alternative to laptops.
Yeah, but what I don't understand, Suzi, is that in order to test these 3 netbooks, we had to go into a wood with some strapping celebrities.
They're the laptop's smaller brother, but while netbooks don't pack so much computing punch, they do last longer and weigh less.
But if budget is your main priority, then you can snap up some of these for less than 250 quid.
So we've picked 3 of the best budget netbooks around, and to test them, 3 budget celebrities who totally embrace the cut price spirit. So knockdown fees and no flowers in the dressing room. In fact, not even a dressing room.
Is there no soap?
Our first pairing is Normski and the Acer Aspire 1 D260. Normski is a guru of culture, photographer, TV presenter and DJ. His netbook is the cheapest, but it still has a 250 gig hard disk and a 1.66 gig processor. Team 2 is Brian Bello and the Samsung N150 Plus. Brian logged on to fame when he won Big Brother 8. His netbook has the same processor as the Acer, but only a 160 gig hard disk. And our final pairing is Chico with the Packard Bell S2. Chico is Welsh, was a goat herder on the plains of Morocco, and is most famous for his X Factor hit single.
It's Chico time!
But will he be topping the chart with his Netbook, which has a 250 gig hard disk and the same processor as his two competitors? So we've set up 3 challenges with seriously unpleasant forfeits. The first tested portability and usability. Netbooks are designed to be small and light, but that can make them fiddly to use and lacking in power. So we got our celebs to carry them around an assault course and then do a computing challenge.
1, go!
They were off, and thanks to a nifty shortcut, Brian raced into the lead despite his Samsung weighing in at 1¼ kilos.
I can see a bar coming up. Oh!
Normski's Acer tipped the scales at exactly the same weight.
Oh, boy!
But Chico's Packard Bell was the lightest at 1.9 kilos.
I'm giving the Netbook a bit of stick, Suzi.
At the end of the assault course, Chico's lighter Netbook gave him the lead.
Get these netbooks fired up, come on.
See if this thing still works.
But could the others catch up with the usability test? The first task was to start their netbooks.
Come on, Brian.
Chico's booted up straight away, so he was still in the lead. But Normski's Acer was taking ages.
I tell you what, this Acer is taking a long time to boot up.
How you getting on, Chico?
Yeah, I'm booted and suited.
Once the netbooks had booted up, the celebs had to access a bogus press release about themselves on a memory stick.
The Gadget Show, finally.
And then edit out some deliberate mistakes.
Suzi, correct?
It said that I worked as an amateur vegetarian.
Veterinarian, as in vet.
Chico was still in the lead because his Packard Bell netbook was the quickest. But now the celebs had to send me the press releases using a MiFi connection. That needed processing power, and everybody was struggling to upload their press releases into an email.
Sending! It's sending!
Sending!
Brian was the first to send, but which one would I receive first?
Oh, hang on.
That's me!
Normski was convinced he'd won.
Well, I'll tell you who it is when I've opened it.
And he was right. Normski won the first netbook challenge, with Brian's email close behind him in second. But all 3 netbooks got top marks for usability.
I thought it was quite good to use on a daily basis.
Felt quite nice.
Yes.
Everything in the right place.
Slick. Yes.
What about you?
For me, this was absolutely brilliant. I can't fault it as far as usability is concerned.
Okay.
Really, really fantastic.
And finally, Normski?
I was very happy. These buttons are quite independent, very nice, good feel.
And it was the upload speed for the email that finally meant Normski's Acer won. And Chico's Packard Bell went from first to last.
See, it just goes to prove
that it wasn't Chico time.
But Chico wasn't laughing for long. Everything about this netbook challenge was cheap, so his forfeit was a bucket of freezing cold water.
I was in my training.
So, with Normski and his Acer out in the lead after round 1, it was on to challenge 2, the crash test.
The small size and lightweight nature of these netbooks comes at a cost because they cannot run as many programs as a laptop. So the next test is a crash test.
We're going to smash them.
No, we're not going to smash them. We're going to load them up with loads of different programs and run them at the same time and see whose crashes out first.
Okay.
Okay?
We had loads of videos to push these little machines to their limits. But Brian's Samsung couldn't even cope with the first 3D high-def movie. He opened it and his netbook seized up.
Mine's paused, Suzi.
So yours can't even play that?
Both Chico's Packard Bell and Normski's Acer coped a lot better and were still neck and neck after they'd opened and played 4 separate videos.
All I know is my Acer has got 4 going and it's not struggling.
It looked like this was going to be a marathon battle. But then...
Oh, yours is slowing down, Chico.
The shiny white Packard Bell stuttered, spluttered, and then stopped.
So the winner of this test is the Acer that is performing brilliantly and still going.
This is the nuts book.
So, as his Samsung netbook had failed the first, losing him this round, it was reality TV's Brian Bello who was next to face our high-tech, money-no-object, fabulous forfeit.
I don't like doing this.
You do, brother Noopski, I know you do.
There you go, bro. It's all done.
Bloody you! I'm putting your foot in the first load of water, and then you tricked me with the second load, and I got these Converses for my birthday.
Happy birthday, bruv.
So, Normski and his Acer had now won the first 2 netbook tests, but would he make it a clean sweep with Challenge 3? The battery test.
The thing about netbooks is you want them to last all day. So there's a video on your memory stick, and you need to play that video, and then we'll see whose battery lasts the longest.
We started with batteries fully charged, and then gave the netbooks a high-def video to play. So it was just a matter of time.
What do you want, bro?
I've got 7% now.
Normski's Acer, which had performed impressively so far, was the first to die.
It's dead.
It lasted 5 hours and 11 minutes. But Brian and Chico were neck and neck.
6%,
You're
maybe.
6%, Chico. What about you, Brian? What are you on?
6%.
Until Brian's screen went black.
What was mine?
His Samsung lasted 5 hours and 14 minutes, just 3 minutes longer. And that left Chico's netbook still clinging on, just.
Champione!
His Packard Bell lasted 5 hours and 15 minutes. Victory by just 60 seconds. And as this was the final test, I'd splashed out on the ultimate forfeit. I dug out a couple of paintball guns from the Gadget Show storeroom. And as Brian and Normski did another circuit of the assault course, me and Chico gave them some neat little bruises. And so to G ratings. And the sluggish Samsung gets just 2 Gs. The Packard Bell gets 3 Gs. It was quick, with marginally the best battery life. But the Acer gets 4 Gs. Its impressive processing power meant it was our favourite of the 3 netbooks.
That looked like such a giggle.
Didn't it?
I
So
haven't
much
laughed
fun.
like that for such a long time. I really wanted you to be there to experience it because they were so much fun, such good sport.
But a thoroughly decent test, and 3 bits of kit that I think all performed relatively well.
You're right, they did, and it was quite difficult to pick a winner. So if you want something that's very lightweight, the battery lasts a long time, you go for the Packard Bell, right? But if you're looking at processing power and the cheapest of the 3, that is actually the Acer.
Cool. Good test, Suze.
OK, well, that's all we've got time for this week. By the way, if you've missed any of tonight's show or you've missed any of our previous shows, you can watch them on Demand 5. Go to 5.tv/Demand5. Until next time, we shall bid you goodbye.
See you then.
See ya.